Hi, my name is John Henthorn, and I have my interviewee here. This is for our management class where we're interviewing different leaders and managers and business owners. So I already know you, but real quick, would you tell us your name and just a little bit about your current role, position, what you do?
Yeah, my name is Charlotte Shores. I am the current owner of Charlotte Shores Personal Chef Services and Sugar by Charlotte. So one specializes in personal chef services, in-home fine dining, gourmet cooking lessons, and meal prep. And Sugar by Charlotte is a luxury dessert boutique specializing in upscale desserts.
Cool. And
And
I
I
also,
guess, yeah, as the owner, I own it.
there you go. And I also know there's something else really, really cool and interesting about you that you're currently have won and running for.
I am currently Mrs. Oklahoma, and I am preparing to compete for Mrs. America in just a little over 4 weeks.
Wow, that's amazing. I think this interview deserves at least an A, if not extra credit for getting Miss Oklahoma on a call. So just
For
think about
sure.
it. First question. How would you describe your core leadership values? And can you tell me why and how those values are important to you? And feel free to provide an example if that's helpful.
I would say, as a leader, some of my core values are definitely integrity, transparency, communication, and resilience. I feel that integrity should be on the top of the list of most business owners, if not all. And it really encompasses consistency and honesty, in my opinion. And so I think as a leader, those are really important qualities to have. Transparency, not only with your clients or the people who frequent your business, but with your employees is really important. And then communication, I know with some of the questions we'll be talking about, that core value is going to come up a lot for me because I feel like communication is the number one factor in any type of relationship, whether it's personal or business relationship. You need to have good communication. And then resiliency is something that, as a business owner, things are going to change and you need to be able to handle them appropriately. And as a leader, you need to show that you can do that. So I'd say, as a business owner, those are my core values. If you want a specific example, I don't know, for me, transparency is really important. As a personal chef, I'm going into people's homes on a regular basis. And a lot of times I don't meet these people the first, before I'm showing up at their residence. And so it's important to be honest and open and transparent with what to expect, because again, they're inviting a stranger into their home. And so what to know, what to, again, expect from your person that you're hiring is really, really important. So
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that. So in order to develop your leadership skills, we typically need to understand our weaknesses. Understanding this, how do you measure your performance as a leader?
I feel like I am constantly growing and developing as a leader, and that is something that you want in a leader, somebody who's not afraid of growth or change, somebody who's able to admit their weaknesses and turn those weaknesses into strengths, or viewing them as challenges to overcome or to help better yourself. And so if I am growing as a leader, I am, again, able to address those issues and change the things that I need to. So I'd say I'd measure myself as a leader. I'm doing what I need to be a successful leader, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's great. So how do you develop your leadership skills like over time? And is there anything you're working on right now? And what you're working on, what brought about, this focus on that effort?
I think a lot of it just comes from practice, from putting yourself into uncomfortable situations to learn and grow. I feel fortunate that my profession allows me those abilities. Sometimes in certain avenues where you decide to, go with your management or leadership skills, change isn't always something that happens regularly. You might have, the same outcome that you're looking for each time. But as a personal chef, I feel like my job is going to be different on a daily basis. So I have the opportunity to practice my leadership skills. Also with having multiple different, I guess I would call my employees independent contractors, because I don't work with everybody every single time I have a job. It's usually different people, a group of people. So they are independent contractors. One of the things I'm working the most on right now is one of my weaknesses is in confrontation. I don't do well with confrontation. It is scary. And so I guess most specifically dealing with negative feedback from people. I recently got my first negative Google review, and it was really, really hard for me. I've never had anybody say anything negative about my skills as a business owner or what I provide my clients. And it was something where I had to then go and confront this individual and kind of ask, hey, well, where are you coming from with this? What is the reasoning behind this negative review? And just kind of addressing and being willing to be more self-reflective and maybe a service that I offer or why a client would choose to feel the way they did about what they received, even though in the beginning, and again, this is where those core values come back into play. I was honest with with this client. I was transparent with what they were going to expect, and the communication was open. And so it was kind of hard for me to have to be in that situation, but because it's something I recognize in myself, something that I need to work on, I was able to put myself in that position and go into it with a clear head and kind of talk through some of these issues with that client.
That's great. Yeah, I really like that, how you used that conflict to just kind of see how you could do better, in the future. I know as business owners, when we get a negative review, we think, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. But then really in reality, the worst thing ever is the customer who doesn't say anything. So kind of getting that feedback and be able to use that is great. So next question. One of the skills we are studying in this course is emotional intelligence, specifically the ability to understand and manage one's emotions, as well as recognizing and influencing the emotions of the people around you that you work with. Is this skill important in your role, and why or why not?
I think it definitely is. It's very important, and I feel like it ties back into, what I just talked about with my weakness of being handling confrontation. As a leader, you're going to be dealing with a lot of confrontation. You're working with a lot of different people, and you have to be able to, again, address that and have the emotional intelligence to work through problems. But with employees, your emotions, especially as a leader, your emotions, your mood, it's going to set up everything for your employees. How you react to different things sets the emotional environment for your employees, for the workspace. And so you being able to have that emotional intelligence to set up a good environment for your employees, or to react well to maybe negative emotions, or having the empathy to work with people who are going through different things and understanding that, and then being able to kind of come full circle to set up that good environment that you need, I think is so important, because you are, as the leader, going to be controlling the emotional environment. You're going to be controlling, I guess, what is tolerated. And so you can use that to either diffuse situations or help bolster enthusiasm and help with productivity with your employees. And so I think that's a really, really important thing that most businesses haven't focused on in the past. So I appreciate seeing a newer generation of business owners that being in their curriculum, learning more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. So it's definitely an important tool. So leadership positions often require the ability to tolerate and succeed in high stress environments. How do you manage stress, and how have your methods changed over time, if at all?
Well, I am a unique individual in that my personality thrives in high stress situations and environments, which I think is why I do so well in my business. I am constantly, again, with being in different people's homes and in different situations, my work environment changes on a daily basis. And so I do thrive in high stress situations, but what I do to be able to thrive, in those is to set myself up for success. I always play through worst case, best case scenarios. I do things to help set my team up so that if there is something that goes wrong, if it's a worst case scenario, or if it's just something where I need to step away because maybe your emotions are high, or you feel like you can't handle something, or somebody in the team feels that way as well. For me, it's important to have a team set up that if one person steps away, the rest of the team can still function fully without that person. And so again, going back to that emotional intelligence and kind of feeding off of that in high stress situations, sometimes in a high stress situation, you do need to take a step back in order to calm yourself, to be able to regroup and figure things out. And that does involve you maybe stepping away. And so having a team set up that can handle that and can continue functioning without you or without one of the other team members, I think is a great way to set yourself up for success in those high stress situations.
Yeah, that's great. And you've asked me to come, help you out before, and having me come help out. And then just like you said before, you're always having new people come in and help you out. And I definitely know it's definitely a high stress situation. But you are able, I could tell you work with lots of different people, when they first start working with you, because you were really good at kind of, for me it's stressful, but you're able to kind of like calm things down. And when you're in those homes, like people are like watching you and looking at you, and it's just like all right there. But they never even knew if anything kind of went wrong, because you were able to kind of have things go smoothly and get through problems. And so I know that's definitely a strength of yours, and it's awesome. So next question, if you have or previously had a mentor, how did you find them and build that relationship? And if not, where do you go to for advice?
So a lot of my business mentors came through a school. So I went to culinary school. And so I had, people who were in the industry that I was able to turn to and ask questions. I randomly, through my work in the community and work with pageantry, found a woman who she actually was the one who inspired me to become a personal chef and kind of a business owner in a different setting that's, a little bit different than, what the norm would be. I guess I had to reach out to certain individuals. And sometimes when you do reach out to them, if they're in the same industry as you, they're not willing to be helpful, which I think is a really terrible practice. But so you really appreciate and grab onto those people who are willing to help you. So with that, I, would ask questions about business growth. I would ask, what it kind of looks like to be a business owner, to be, as a sole proprietor, or, what just the different types of businesses and what it looks like to be a business owner. And those are kind of the questions and things that I really went to my mentors about for kind of how I decided to build my career.
Yeah, that's great. And I agree with that. I feel like I learned some from people in my same industry, but I feel like I've learned possibly even more from talking with people in different industries and how they overcome different issues and stuff. So that's great. So is there anything you think we've missed, or anything you think deserves to be mentioned that you would like to talk about?
I just like to round it back with talking about, again, as a core value, the communication and how important that is with your employees, with your clients. Making people feel seen and heard in a management setting is what's going to help really bolster productivity. It's going to make people stay committed to you as an employer. And so I feel like if you're not working on your communication skills as a business owner, as a person in a leadership position, that's definitely something you would want to consider. Because again, when people feel like you're on the same level with them, talking with them, having that empathy and understanding, that's when you're going to really inspire, what's the word I'm trying to look for now? My mind's gone blank, but loyalty. There we go, in business.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Charlotte, that's our interview. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're super busy, but I really enjoyed that. So thank you very much, and hope you have a good rest of the day.
All right. Thanks, John. You too.
Bye.